This. All right, what's up mga ka-investa? Welcome back to the Investa Learn Business Talk. And again, today we have a very special guest, Mr. Alvin Aguilar. Hello, sir.
Hey guys, hello. Thank you for having me over.
Thank you, sir. So, before we begin, let me introduce who Mr. Alvin Mr. Alvin is if you don't know him yet. So, Mr. Alvin is the pioneer of MMA in the Philippines, mixed martial arts. He is the president and founder of URCC Global, or Universal Reality Combat Championship. So he's also the founder of DefTac Philippines, the largest BJJ team in Asia. He is the president of the Wrestling Association of the Philippines, a member of the Philippine Olympic Committee. He is a third-degree black belt under Saulo and Shanji Hibero, and he was the first Filipino to be awarded with a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and owns the Banff MMA Center in Parañaque. So without further ado, welcome back to the show, Travis.
Yeah, thank you.
Alright, so I said welcome back kasi third time na yata namin tinry shoot because of internet problem. It's bad in the Philippines. But okay, of course, this is a business podcast. And of course, Mr. Alvin is the leading entrepreneur when it comes to the combat sports industry. But before we dig into the business stuff, let's try to get to know where all of this started. So again, Sir Alvin, what started your interest in the martial arts?
Well, as a kid, my parents made me watch martial arts films. My grandfather was a martial artist. My father was a martial artist. They both made me watch all these martial arts films, and I watched the ninja films. And ever since, I wanted to be one of those. And my path in martial arts took me to everything. I started with karate, wrestling, boxing, Filipino martial arts, jiu-jitsu, and until now, I'm still trying to learn as much as I can.
All right. I think I asked yesterday, how did you ever encounter any martial art related to the ninjas? Because of course that's what piqued your interest.
Okay. One of the oldest martial arts in Japan is jiu-jitsu. That's the forerunner of judo, and ninjutsu by the name. A lot of that came from jiu-jitsu as well. So when in the 1500s, that's when the first jiu-jitsu school came up, but it was basically a conglomeration of all the accepted grappling and martial arts styles already present in Japan.
Oh, okay. So, what made you decide to focus on Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu?
Well, there's a lot of things that my personal favorite, of course, is Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and Filipino martial arts. People don't. Well, the thing I like about Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is there's always something new to learn, just like all the other martial arts. But in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, you see it right away. Like every week, there's something new. Every week, every day. I mean, even if you just scroll to YouTube on the internet and on different learning sites, you'll see there's always something new. There's always a new concept, and it's like, there's just so much that you have to grasp, and it's just so nice. That basically symbolizes my path in the martial arts, because I see everything and I just want to learn it all and understand everything. So that's why I like Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and of course Filipino martial arts.
All right. So yesterday, I think you mentioned that you studied under the Gracies, one of the founders of UFC. So I asked the question, what was the training like under the Gracies? And you said that it wasn't super intense. Can you explain to the audience?
Okay, when you first start, they do the moves very, very slow, just like any jiu-jitsu school. They don't, you don't. It doesn't. People have the impression that when you go and you fight right away, you get your ass kicked, you get bloodied up. It's not like that. Mm-hmm. Actually, I thought it was going to be like that, because a lot of the martial arts I took were like that. You come in, you get your ass kicked, and after that, if you don't come back, it's not for you. So, so when I went in there, it was a beautiful gym. I mean, it smelled good. The mats were so clean. It was something I was totally, not used to, because all the gyms here before used to be like underground. It wasn't clean. But it was so clean and everything. And then everybody was so nice. So Horian came out and then talked to me and my father. And introduced me to Royce. Royce Gracie was the first UFC champion as well. And then later on, I met their father, Helio Gracie, who was the founder of Gracie Jiu-Jitsu, along with his brother Carlos Gracie. So when I met them, it was It was just like, wow, I was like so starstruck and everything. And I wanted to, ask him so many questions, but I was just there like this. um, so, eventually they would teach me their techniques, but then, I was a young punk that time. I was already instructing a lot of martial arts. So, I wanted to have an exchange of knowledge. I wanted him to see how good of a fighter I was and everything. So what I did was I booked a private with Hoyce, hoping to be able to challenge him and show him what's up. And then what happened was a purple belt showed up. And I was like, wow, why is a purple belt here? What's he going to teach me? This is nothing. This is a purple belt. So I told the purple belt, you don't have to teach me. Let's just spar. So after that, after first one round, he beat me. It's like, oh, maybe I'm just jet lagged. But after that, I just kept going and going. Probably tapped me out 14 times. And that was there when I felt the power and beauty of jiu-jitsu. And I said, wow, I have to learn this, because all of my martial arts until this time was like totally useless. If you put me on the ground, it was totally useless. I couldn't do anything. And I said, this is something I really have to learn.
Wow.
And I never stopped learning.
And how long did it take you to get a grasp of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu?
Well, until now, I'm still trying to get the grasp of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I've been doing Jiu-Jitsu for about 27 years now, and I'm still trying to get a grasp on it. I know the general principles, the general theories. I can produce champions. I've been a champion myself. I produce the most national and international champions combined in Asia for our country. But I'm still trying to get a grasp, because there's so much more to learn. When you see it and you really get deep into it, there's just so much more to learn.
All right. But how long did it take before you got the black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu?
Okay, it took me about 14 years. 14 years. Well, one of the reasons why is because we didn't really have a black belt here to have to travel back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
But people seem to think, like even here right now, nowadays, people think that just because you're a black belt, that's it, that's the end. They don't know. Having the black belt is just the beginning, because that's the last belt you're ever going to have, and that's the belt you're going to be judged with. People aren't going to remember what you did blue, purple, brown. They're going to remember what you did as a black belt, because that's when it really counts. So whether you become a good competitor, a good instructor, a better person, that's what really counts. So a lot of people get their black belts and they walk around, they think they're gods, but with no credibility just because they got their black belt. So that's different. So you have to make sure that when you get a black belt, you have to understand that's when you can start understanding your martial art. Now that you have the tools, now you can better learn. Now you can create the message and make a better message for all of your students and everybody else around you to help you get your black belt.
Right. And the only way to get a black belt is, do you have to go through the Gracies or the...
Okay. A lot of people think that the Gracies were the only ones taught by Maeda in Brazil.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What happened was there were a lot of other families who were taught jiu-jitsu in Brazil. The Gracies were just the most popular, the most out there people. Now, once, let's say, for example, the Gracie gives somebody else a black belt, that somebody can give somebody else a black belt. You don't have to go to the Gracies anymore. I got my blue belt from Hoyce after 2 days. I got my 4 stripes of my blue belt after 2 weeks from Hoyce and Kaike. And then after that, I finished all my belts with Kazaki Muniz. After that, purple, brown, black. Then when I got to be a black belt, I went back with Hoyler and Saulo and Sanjay. And then I've been with them ever since. We've been together for about more than a decade already. Very, very happy with the results. You've seen, when I started training with Saulo and Sanjay, it's like, wow, this is when I began to really, really understand, hardcore jiu-jitsu. And never look back.
Wow. All right. So you've been giving other people black belts also now? Yes,
actually, I have a lot of black belts already here in the Philippines. The first one being Pichon Garcia. Now, there's this thing though. When you give somebody a black belt in jiu-jitsu, you're giving him a part of yourself, because to be able to make somebody else good, in jiu-jitsu especially, you have to be really close to the person, because you're there with them for years. You're mentoring them, you're teaching them. You always want the best for them and everything. So, it's a very intimate thing to be able to give your black belt to somebody. It means something. Now, of course, there's some times where people turn out to be a disappointment, which is just the risk of the warrior's love. The warrior's love is like this. You teach somebody else all of your secrets. As much as possible, you try to make him as good as you're even better. You teach him all of your warrior secrets. That's the warrior's love. But in the back of your head, you have to hope that he doesn't betray you. And there have been people that betrayed me. I mean, that's fine. Yeah, what do you call that? Nobody will remember their legacy anymore. But not just because they betrayed me, it's because when they became black belts, they forgot what it is to become a black belt. So, example, a lot of people when they go into jiu-jitsu, white belt, they have all the swag. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. First 2 days, when they finally spar, oh my God, I am nothing. I know nothing. Then they learn to be humble. After that, when they get to be blue belt, okay, we're a little bit more comfortable. Purple belt, even more comfortable. And some people don't just become humble. What they do is they hide their true selves. And their true selves can't wait to come out until they become a black belt. And after that, what happens is you created a monster. Somebody who doesn't have, does not check himself, does not check his ego. Plus, he has a black belt. So these are the type of black belts that walk around with a black belt and an ego, but with no credibility whatsoever. And, I have to make sure our students don't end up like that. Among all of my black belts, and I've graduated the most black belts in Southeast Asia, only 3 have been disappointments, but everybody else, have spread the message really, really well. And I'm so, so proud of them.
Okay. All right. So just a follow-up question. When you say they betrayed you or they become disappointments, was there anything specific that you can share?
Oh,
How?
sure. Yeah. Okay. Well, what happens is, there's other people when they cannot beat you, and they're they, there's some people that when they can't beat you, they cannot be you, or they aspire to be you, but they don't want to put in the work. They will try to do something behind your back. They say shit. They try to destroy you. They try to go behind your back, do crooked stuff to sabotage you. You know, people like that. With us here at DefTech, it's very, very simple. We all move in one direction. We only want the best for our students and best for everybody else to make ourselves and everybody else around us better. Now, if you're not with it, then go fine, leave. But some people, they don't understand that, oh, they're only like this. They always have an excuse why we're better than them, or they always have an excuse why we win and they don't. So, what people do to hide their shortcomings is they try to destroy you. And when that happens, I feel that's a betrayal. So I just, leave. Bye. Diba? Sayang lang.
Yeah.
Because a lot of Filipino, to be a black belt, it takes a long time. 14 years, some are even longer. Diba? Some are shorter. It depends also on the circumstances and the ability and the learning process. But when people have a black belt, that's what you're going to be eventually judged for.
All right. Do you have any guiding principles or core values when you teach these people?
Oh yeah, okay. Well, we have our thing is number one is the loyalty, and number two is we always have to take care of one another. Now you're there in the gym, you're there as part of the team to make yourself better and make everybody else around you better. We really take care of each other like family. This is not like a hashtag. Like I see so many teams here like hashtag family. Oh, talaga? I see it all over the world. It's family, but we're really family. A lot of us in the team have been together, through actual life and death situations, and I've seen it, and you know, they're proven, and we've been through so much together, and that's why the core of the team is always at its strongest, because we're surrounded by people who we've trusted, who've gone through the same path I have, whether that's good or it's bad. And because of that, they were able to help so many people achieve their goals in the martial arts. So I'm very, very happy with that.
All right. All right. All right. So let's try to go into the business side.
Sure,
So,
sure.
all right. So this is a passion of yours, of course, martial arts. So how did you turn your passion into a business? Of course, you have URCC, you have DefTech, you have the BAMF MMA Center. How did you turn all of your knowledge into starting businesses here in the Philippines?
Okay, well, it wasn't easy. To tell you honestly, I had my first business when I was 19 years old. Okay, so in college, I put up two businesses right away because I remember one day my dad made me do a summer working in SGV, so I could see the corporate world and stuff. And not for anything. I mean, no offense to the corporate people or anything. I mean, I have so many friends and everybody, but when I was there, I was like, oh my God, these people are dead. They're like the Walking Dead. I mean, they just, they're here in the morning. They bitch about their work. And then, they try to be happy. I see them back talk about each other the whole day. I said, my God, this is an environment I'm never going to be in. And then, I saw that, a lot of the times your progress depends on someone else. So I said, oh my God, I can't have this. So, at 19 years old, I had to put up my own business. So I had a food business and I had a security agency. So from there, I was already pretty set. Okay, I was pretty set. Even by today's standards, I was pretty set. These are like idiot-proof businesses that I put up. And then they're making a lot of money. And then you're 19 years old, you're single, and you have a lot of money. Guess what you do with it? All you do is just throw it out. Right? So, of course, being young, you had a little bit of an ego. So, we'd always spend too much, party too much and everything. But then to the process, I was doing martial arts and he said, this is something I want to do. So I have to marry making money with martial arts. If not, what am I going to do? I cannot do this. Right? And if you notice, here and anywhere else in the world, martial artists have the largest egos, but are the brokest motherfuckers. So I didn't want to be one of those. Okay. Now, a lot of people, one of the reasons why a lot of people here in the martial arts don't really succeed is because they treat their martial arts gyms, their martial arts businesses as a hobby. Now, if you treat your business like a hobby, it's going to pay you like a hobby. But if you treat it like a business, then it will come back to you as a real business. So there.
All right. So did you learn anything from martial arts that taught you about business?
Okay, yeah, a lot. Number one is working hard. Number two is dealing with failure. Having an aspiration of what you have to be and what it takes to get there. Because the first thing with anything, right, is this is what I do. Okay, I do a lot of visualization, even when I fight. Okay, when I fight, prepare for a comp, or when I prepared for my students. Okay, I visualize that we're already there on the day itself, and I visualize whatever the opponent can do to him or me. Okay, and I visualize what I'm doing to him and how I'm winning. Now, how am I supposed to get that? How am I supposed to be able to do that at that right at that exact moment? And how am I supposed to make sure that this guy cannot do anything to actually stop me? I have to be that strong. Now, to be that strong, I got to prepare and I got to go back. So I start from here. How strong do I have to be? What do I have to do to be here? So I applied that when it came to business. So I always had this goal. Okay. So what do I have to do to get here? Okay. I want this. So what do I have to do to be here? Who do I have to talk to? Who do I have to meet? Who do I have to, tie up with? That ganon. So I always go backwards, and then that's how I go. So I got that from the martial arts, and so far it's been working. But there's always ups and downs. In business is exactly like jiu-jitsu also. In jiu-jitsu, one day you think you're the king of the hill, you're tapping everybody, in the gym. Then all of a sudden, when you go to another tournament, you lose. Like, oh man, I suck. After that, you go back to another tournament, you win. Yeah, I'm the best. After the next day, somebody taps you out. Oh, I suck. So you have to be able to ride the wave. That's the same thing in business, especially with your own business. There's always something that's going to happen. You just have to be able to, deal with it. So, in business, one day everything's doing well. And the next day, like for example, this year I had so many plans. Everything was all good. Kasanayan, all of a sudden COVID happens. Oh, wow. Diba? I'm not going to cry. And, I always look for the positive in things. And, when there's a problem, I don't go, oh no, there's a problem. I don't do that. Okay. Because I've been through a lot. I've been through everything. So when I hear about a problem or I see a problem, I always think about the solution. I don't think about the problem itself. I don't dwell on that. I think about the solution. And then problems are just, are just really a way of telling you that you just have to give a little bit more attention to that specific thing.
All right. All right. So of course you trained with the founder of UFC. And how much did that influence your decision making into URCC?
Okay. Well, we always used to do this. We used to have underground fights a lot, even before the UFC happened. That's in a lot. I went to them. A lot of my students did. So it was like pretty common here. So when I saw them do it in the States, I said, well, if you can do that in the States, and we were already having underground challenges and everything. And sometimes the underground challenges in typical Pinoy cannot accept that they lose. When they lose, babawi in some other way. And of course, it's just a wheel. Eh? When you fight, it's always a wheel. So they come in, babawi sila. Then you come back with sticks. They come back with knives. Then you come back with bats. They come back with guns. Then you come back with guns. Then the wheel keeps turning and turning and turning. And you're not fighting for anything. Because before, we just fought for pride. Totally no money. It was just pride. Para masabi, uy, nupakan ko yan. Parang that kind of thing. So I saw him make it legitimate in the States. So I said, okay, if you can do it there, then, we're doing it here anyway for nothing. So we might as well make a business out of it. And, and we started. I expected 500 people to show up in the URCC, and 5,000 people showed up. And we've never stopped. We're now Asia's longest running MMA promotion.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right. So before that, were there any particular combat sports that you were trying to mimic, that you were trying to copy or apply the business models of different combat sports before?
Well, before that, I had I had a gym. Our thing was, well, we'll enter this tournament, and if we beat people here, we're champions here, everybody will see that we're the best and they will go. So we entered all sorts of tournaments. We kicked everyone's ass here in the Philippines. And after that, we'd see, hey, how come nothing happened to our enrollment? People are still training there. They're still training there. And I'd see the most god-awful martial artists with so many students. Then I was like, what the hell's happening here? That's when it struck me. And then I did some reading that martial arts, you're not in the business of martial arts. Okay, of course, you have to get to a certain level to be legit. Okay, but the martial arts business model, so I hope everybody, gets a little taste of this, is it's basically all marketing and sales. It's all marketing and sales. Nobody wanted to train with us because they thought we were all goons. You had to be a frat member to go in. My girlfriend right now, my partner in life, May, didn't want to train with us at first. She wanted to train with us ever since. She saw us always winning, but everyone would tell her, no, you have to be a fraternity member. You have to be a gangster or something like that. We'd always have these, weird connotations about us, So, number one is marketing. So you have to get your message out there, show them, what kind of benefits you can give to everybody else. And another one is sales. So many sweet talking martial artists, but didn't have anything to show. The reason why they had a lot of students was they would be such sweet talkers, and they had sales and marketing skills that I never had. I had to learn all of that from scratch. But it all panned out because when I got down to it, I learned about retention, sales, marketing, dealing with people, dealing with egos, dealing with objections. When I finally got all of that, we turned out, DefTac became this huge. Now we're Asia's largest jiu-jitsu team. So pretty happy with all of that.
Right. So in terms of marketing and sales, do you have any specific strategies that you were trying to employ back then and until now?
Well, back then it was like I said, we kick everyone's ass, and then maybe people would come in. But then now our marketing thing, our messages, whatever you want, whatever goals you want to achieve, once you enter our gyms, tell us and we'll make it happen. That can be self-defense. It can be just to get fit. It can be competition. You just to have camaraderie with everybody. So whatever you want, you tell us when we'll give you the benefits that you want. So our marketing message is that right now, and then we make sure it's worked for us, and we really mean it. We really make sure that our students get everything they want. So there are a lot of people that when they join like other clubs, oh, when you join here, you know what, instead of focusing on the students and focusing on everything else, they're always focusing on another team. Let's say, for example, us. Oh, those DefTac people, they're like only this because they're this, they're this. They always have an excuse. But we don't do that. We have blinders. It's always blinders this way. Just take care of our own. We make sure that we give them the best possible training, care, and environment to be able to succeed. And, you know, we've been very, very successful with that.
All right. So you're handling a lot right now, actually. So you have
Mm-hmm.
URCC, you have DefTac, you have the Wrestling Association, you have all of these. How do you manage your time, and how do you pay attention to all of your businesses and all your even family?
Oh, yeah. Well, it's like this. Okay. Number one, this is my passion. All of this is my passion. Okay. I'm in wrestling because I've been wrestling before. The wrestlers helped me, and I have to uplift wrestling. Okay. Now we've already made great strides. You know, wrestling has done what nobody else has done before. Now that we're there, you know, we've created more champions than anybody else. So, it's my passion to do all of this. That's why it doesn't look like work for me. You know, it's just like, it's almost like a kid in an ice cream store. Oh, I like this flavor, this flavor, this flavor. It's like that for me. I mean, I love, you know, helping out in wrestling, you know, leading the charge, making everybody better. I love hanging out with our DefTac guys, teaching them. You know, I love promoting the fights. I mean, these are things that I absolutely love. So it's not work for me. I mean, sometimes, you know, maybe it gets people say, oh, masyado kang maraming ginagawa. Ano yan? You cannot do
Focus or
that. You can, yeah, no, they always say, what's this? You cannot do justice to that if you're doing this. But regardless of what people say, results are the ones that matter, diba? I mean, you look at wrestling, look at DefTac, look at URCC, you know, we're here. And we're not just surviving, we're thriving.
all right. And at the same time, it's not like you're doing different businesses from different industries. Like you still have a core which is
It's pretty
really
much the same. It's all the same.
yeah. All right. All right. That's good. All right. So I have another question regarding business. How competitive is this type of industry? And I'm not talking about competition in terms of people fighting each other in the ring, but competition in this industry. Of course, you have a lot of competitors here in the Philippines. You have 1FC, PXC. So how are you dealing with the competition?
Okay. It's like this. Well, when if you're a real mixed martial artist or a mixed martial arts fan, it's not like if I watch this, I'm not going to watch this.
Mm-hmm.
So people would always think, oh, just because I watch UFC, I won't watch this. It's not like that. They watch everything, right? But I've been, you know, when the URCC first came out, you know, there are a lot of rich families, rich people, foreign promoters. Everybody and their mother tried to come here and sink me. When they came in, their job was, oh, that's URCC there. We got to get rid of that guy. You know, we're going to come in here. We're in the Philippines. You're going to be the next big thing. And Alvin and the URCC will be nowhere. Okay. So that started, well, there's so many promotions tried, you know, so many promotions tried, and then they're all gone now. Even this 1FC right now, I've been telling, you know, they were supposed to be our partners. I was the one who brought 1FC here to the Philippines. Do you know that? People don't know that. They even used my promoter's license for them to have, you know, stuff, the first event here. But when I noticed what they were doing about, you know, how they were just running a Ponzi scheme, a half Ponzi scheme and half money laundering, I'm going to disassociate from these people. And then people said, "Oh, why did you do that? You know, you're crazy. These people have money. They're powerful." No, they're not. I knew them. Just because you duped a couple of investors doesn't mean you know, give you carte blanche to do this and say this, whatever. I mean, everything that you say and do has to be backed up with substance. And you know, people didn't believe me all these years until finally it came out the other day that they lost $120 million of their investment. The people who invested in them, they lost $120 million. So, you know, and that's just the start. I mean, that's not just 120 million they lost. I mean, but the reason why I'm saying this is people like this in the industry make it bad for everybody else. So let's say, for example, I wanted to get an investor. Oh no, maybe you're trying to do a one FC, trying to get my money and run. So it's really, really terrible, because a lot of promotions try to be UFC right away, and people don't know that the UFC is backed by one of the richest financiers in the world. So they can afford to spend like that, and the UFC's been around. I mean, the growing pains of UFC is something else. From Horian Gracie to SEG to the Fertitta brothers to what it is right now. I mean, there's a lot of up and downs. So, um, these are yeah. Sorry, I lost my train of thought, but yeah. Why? Because there's so much I want to say, but I just gotta be guarded by it. Because what do you call it? I know this is a business show, and I don't want to,
It's all right, sir. So basically, you're for this term we call co-opetition. So
Mhm.
you're competing, but also you wanted to be friends with them, but of
You
course
know what?
they weren't responding
That's it.
the
You
same.
know, these people don't know what it's like to have a real enemy. I've had a real enemy who tried to shoot me, and I tried to shoot them. They tried to kill me. I tried to kill them. I mean, when you're there, and that's in that point, that's a real enemy. I mean, but then if you wanna if you wanna mess with me about business and stuff, there's the pie is so huge. Okay, and competition makes everybody better. Keeps you on your toes. So let's say if I was by myself, the URCC here, then just being human, and we have people around us, we wouldn't be on our toes. We need somebody to always push us to always be better, I mean, I think that's healthy. But when but when another promotion tries deliberately to destroy you the way all of these other promotions did, I said all of the promotions that came here, try all the foreign promotions, all walang isa na hindi, all tried to do something to sink me from paying officials, to paying the press, to paying these people. As ang dami, they tried all sorts of shit. But yung mga ganyan, yan ang hindi pwede. That's why I'm really gonna fight you, diba? Like, just like anybody else. But yun, I mean, people don't understand the pie is so big.
Mhm.
Okay, make your own path. You don't have to push anybody out of the way.
All right,
That goes for any business also.
I agree. Wow. Okay, so for URCC, do you have any master plan? Do you have a big goal that you want URCC to achieve sometime in the
Well,
future?
okay, we've already had events in the US and events in China. We've had about 4 events in the US. I had one event in Beijing, China, when I was in partnership with the Chinese government itself. Okay, so we were shown on CCTV there. I even read Duterte's message there. I was the one reading it, and while I was reading it, the Chinese guy, the Chinese interpreter was, interpreting, was the interpreter. Okay, our plans right now is to make sure that we still showcase Filipino mixed martial artists to the world. Okay, now as we're doing that, we're going to be picking up a lot of other talents around Asia. We already have partnerships in so many countries around Asia. Okay, we will be doing a lot of shows also. The Middle East is we're still fixing that one up, but around Asia we're pretty much covered. And then we're gonna continue our US shows. We were actually supposed to have a show this year in Vegas for the URCC, but yeah, you know how things happen. So
Sayang.
that's okay. I mean, everything happens for a reason, and I think this thing that happened to all of us, I think it's the world resetting. The world had to do a small reset just to show everybody where you're at, what's important, what's really, really essential. And, there's so many lessons to be learned there. And if we didn't learn any lessons and we just walked away from this and, got depressed, then, we didn't get the best of this.
All right. All right. So that's one of the main topics that we also want to talk about, which is how to adjust to the new normal. But before we go to that, I noticed another strength of yours. You have a lot of partners and you've been able to talk to, let's say, yun nga, yung Chinese government. What do you have any techniques or secrets or personalities that you have that made you be able to reach out to these people from far, far away?
Okay. Well, to be able to do that, of course, I had to have some credibility. Okay. But a lot of these people didn't know me. No, just be confident in yourself when you approach these people, and don't be afraid to make a mistake. I mean, all these guys who became billionaires, they made so many, they made so many mistakes coming up. It's not like they didn't make any mistakes. So now if I made a mistake, if I pushed too hard or I didn't do this enough, and um, I'm not scared about making mistakes because I'll learn from the mistake. But if I make it again, that's when I really have to be mad at myself. So I'm not afraid to make mistakes. That's number one. And always keep your word. Everything you say, you have to do. Because if you don't, then why will I deal with you? But then, this actually was a big flaw of mine when I first started business. I never had contracts with anybody. Okay? Because my thing was, if I have to have a contract with you, that means I don't trust you. And if I don't trust you, why should I have to be in business with you? And you know what happened there? I got fucked over so many times. So, regardless of who it is, make sure you have a contract. Because even with a contract, hindi pa sigurado yan. When you have a contract with somebody, then that means if he doesn't fulfill his obligations, okay, that means you just have to go to court. And then when you go to court, it can take 10, 15 years. Wala pa rin mangyari, di ba? So, just be very, very careful and always have a contract. So, kahit pa paano you're backed up.
Is there any particular experience you've had where you didn't have a contract and somebody took advantage of that?
Oh yeah, so many times. I can't even count. And my father would always say, "I told you have to have a contract." And then I'd always tell my dad, "No, I trust these guys. No, there's no such thing. There's no such thing." And after that, "No, Pop, I trust this guy. It's not like your time. No, and there's no time. It's still like this until now." And I should have listened. My father is one of my idols growing up. He this guy's a student body president, ROTC, head commandant in LaSalle. He's the SC president there. Then he went to AIM, and then he went to Harvard. He's really, really, boom this way in education, and he's good in the corporate world. He's had a beautiful, successful career there. That's why we were able to get all of these things that he was able to give us. The education, the lessons and everything. So these are the times where I should have listened to him, and it cost me a lot of money that I didn't.
All right. So let's go back to the topic of the new normal. Of course, this is one of the industries that are really hit by the current health crisis. So what does the new normal look like for URCC, for DefTAC, for BAMF?
Okay. Well, I'm not going to lie to you that it says, it hurts because we're not making any money, right? Now, but the thing is like this, okay? The only constant thing in life is change. And the people who don't know how to adapt to change are the ones who's going to get left behind or just die out. So, of course, we had to switch everything. We've done online lessons already. We've switched it up. Now, for the URCC, we're going to, whether or not we're allowed to have, big public events, we're going to push through with private events that we're going to stream everywhere anyway. So, the URCC is never going to go out of style. We're always going to be there. And we have beautiful formats again. Again, like I said, we're not like the other MMA promotions that, saw UFC and said, "Gayahin kaya natin yan." No, we have so many different formats under URCC. And we're going to be doing that. At first, we thought it was just going to be 2 weeks, then 3 weeks, and 1 month, and then it was like 2 months, and parang tagal na. Then after that, we saw so many people getting depressed. They weren't able to eat. Walang perang kinikita. We all had to adjust. Okay. If you don't adjust, you don't know how to adapt to the new normal, then maiiwan ka. So for everybody, that means you have to get out of your comfort zone. If you have to start from scratch, start from scratch. I mean, that's how life is. Sometimes kasi we hold ourselves back because of our pride. So like you asked me a while ago also, what is it I have when I talk to people to be able to reach this, that? It's because I don't let my pride hold me back. I'm not afraid to make mistakes. I mean, I'm very guarded with what I say. But when I say something and then I make a mistake, then okay, I'll take it. I make sure I don't do it again. And that's how life should be.
All right, sir. So when I was in high school, I enrolled in BAMF MMA Center, and of course, from then on, I've heard about your name, and I've heard about a lot of things about you, because you're basically a legend for a lot of people. And I even heard someone say that you're the Bruce Lee of the Philippines. Would you agree to that?
Well, no, Bruce Lee's Bruce Lee was one of my idols growing up. I adopted a lot of his thinking, in in my martial arts journey. But well, I'm not a movie star, so I can't be Bruce Lee.
So that's the only difference. All right. So, in relation to
But
that, I
very well.
okay. So in relation to that, of course, I heard a lot of things, and of course, before this, you are a family guy now, and I love seeing your family in Instagram. It's very,
Thank
very
you.
family oriented person. So before this, of course, you've had a lot of experience fighting as well, not only inside the ring or professionally. I've heard this story
Most of,
about.
most of, okay, most of it was outside the ring. Probably 9.9%.
Oh wow. Okay, so with that, I heard this story wherein four of you fought with 18 people in an elevator. And I'm trying to look for the source, but I couldn't find it anymore. But is there any truth to this story?
Okay, it wasn't an elevator. Okay, what happened was one, two, there's five of us. Okay, what happened was we went inside a party.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we went to a party. Now, before, I don't know, maybe before it was okay to crash parties because everybody would crash my party, I would crash theirs. During our time, at least in the 90s. So anyway, we went to this house party, and there's so many people. I said so many people inside. And then this guy who's with us decides to pick a fight. And we told him, don't fight here because these aren't this. We're just crashing here basically.
Yeah.
And he kept on. He kept on. And then when he started to fight with the guy, of course he beat up the guy. So I go, let's go, let's just get out of here. As soon as he beat up the guy ran up to the party, and then more than 20 plus people just went down and just charged us. And I felt bad because after, well, during the fight, of course we had to fight, but then years later I felt bad because these people didn't know us because I was this payatot na people call me yung payatot na tisoy, hindi man marunong mapag-away yan. They would say stuff like that, but that's probably what I look like. So a lot of people charged me. They charged us with knives also. And we ended up putting about 15 people in the hospital, 15 or 16. And then when we went to the police station, of course, those 16 were complainants. They were complaining against 5. Now, of course, we had court cases and stuff, and it lasted long, very, very long, more than 20 years. That case. I had cases of frustrated homicide. Serious. It was really crazy, and believe it or not, those guys ended up becoming our friends. But still, I mean, we had to go through all of this, and I just wish that didn't happen. It was all because of that one guy with us. So that again is another example of just because you're made powerful doesn't mean you're only made powerful for a certain time so you can help everybody else around you. Okay, but when you start abusing that, that's when it's going to come back to you. So this guy who was with us decided to abuse his power because he was our student. He thought he was all big and bad, and he created an even bigger problem for all of us. And it was really, really terrible. But then, that's one of the stories. During those times, it was a big thing because we beat up a lot of people just being 5. But then that's one incident I'm not particularly proud of.
And when
Other than
all right. When did this happen? Is it college days, after college, or?
yeah, so that was college days. College days, we would get into fights about 3 or 4 times a week, maybe usually once a day. Because in the 90s, it was different. I mean, there was no social media. People were snowflakes then. what do you call it now? There's too many snowflakes. Everyone's trying to be PC. Everyone's sensitive. There's no CCTVs also. There's no social media. Everybody just went out to get drunk, to get girls, or get into fights. Now, during those times, also, there were a lot of frat bars. So I was the head of the frat. And I wasn't just the head of the frat. I was the head of my martial arts group, which also had their own enemies. So can you just imagine? I got the brunt of both. So, okay, what's this fight about? Oh, this is about martial arts. Okay, what's this fight about? Oh, it's about the frat. Okay, what's this fight about? It was like that. So I got the worst of it, being the head of both. And remember, I was martial arts at that time had no place to showcase their skills except the street or underground fights, and I wanted to be the best, so I had to do everything.
Wow. Okay. What would you say about the fight culture back then versus the fight culture now?
Okay, right now the kids are better technically. They're all better technically because there's no better training. There's more experience and more techniques out right now, better training methods. But before, what I liked about before was people didn't fight for money, didn't fight for fame, didn't fight for Facebook or Instagram or TikTok. People fought for themselves as martial artists. Now, people fought to be able to tell themselves, look themselves in the mirror and say, I did this. And that was it. Now, everybody thinks they're Conor McGregor. Oh, look at me training or lifting weights. Or look at me doing this, which is also one of the reasons why our mixed martial artists are going down, because they believe in as a fighter, you have to believe in yourself always, of course, right? But when you believe in yourself too much, that's when you start going down. So just like the saying goes, when you start believing in your legend, you will never be a legend.
All right. Ganda. Okay. So have you heard any weird rumor about yourself?
I've heard so many, I don't even know where to start. Tell me what you heard if you have any.
Wala naman masyado. Of course, mostly fights or yeah.
Fights.
I know you're very naman open with it. You
Oh, okay. I'll tell you one. Okay. One rumor was what do you call that? I worship a different god and I hypnotize people. It's like, wow. If I if I could hypnotize people, I wouldn't have to go through all the shit I went through. I just so there. Yeah, that was the weirdest rumor I heard. Oh, another one was that I have a kid in the province.
Oh. Catchy.
Imagine that, right? But I don't. I
All right. When was the last time you fought in the ring or professionally?
Well, the last time I competed, you mean? Well, during my time, there's no professional leagues. Everything was underground, so I never got to fight like professionally the way you see right now. But like the last time I competed with jiu-jitsu was in 2016 in Japan, in the All Asian Championship there. I beat all the Japanese in jiu-jitsu in Japan. That was a beautiful day. I didn't just beat him; I really beat him. So those are good days. I only had about I only had about 2 scored in me the whole tournament. So I was very happy with my performance. And what was the best about it that day was I was able to do it in front of all of my students and all of my friends and family. They all watched it and they were all there live, and that was the best feeling ever.
Wow. All right. Congratulations, sir.
Thank you.
Do you like reading books?
Oh, I love reading books. That's all I do. People don't know this. All I do is read. Like when we go to the States, everybody goes somewhere. I go to the bookstore. I go, leave me in the bookstore. I'll just be here the whole day. I'm like the little nerd who's always looking at the books and stuff. I'm always reading and stuff. Everybody, what the saying is, right? You're always the same person, but you're not the same person after you read the books you read and the people you meet. So those two are the ones that make a difference. About who you are and what you become. So me, it's just it's just a curiosity and this insane hunger to always learn. I said, I can't, like, at night when I sleep, I can't wait to learn the next technique the next day, get to find out more about this concept the next day. I just got to learn everything. I don't know if that's an obsession or being crazy or being insane, but then that's just me.
Do you have one particular book that changed your life or your perspective on things, martial arts or life or business?
Well, I read a lot. Well, the ones for marketing, the guys who really got me started in, talking about marketing was Dan Kennedy. I liked a lot of his stuff. He was his student, Lloyd Irvin. I studied under him also. I learned a lot of his stuff. And then, of course, we have the Robert Greene, we have the Napoleon Hill. I mean, these guys are all, they give you this, they give you these tools and method of thinking. Now, dito pa lang, before you go to the ground, from the ground up, you have a good foundation. Oh, this is what I should do. Oh, okay. And then now it's when you start going, when you have a good foundation, that's when you start going into other things to be more specific about work. For a while, I remember there's this thing about law of attraction. I guess everybody heard that. The law of attraction, thoughts plus emotion equals attraction. That's true. If you think about it, okay, you always feel about it, okay, sometimes you attract it. But what makes you attractive is thoughts, emotions, and a lot of hard work. There's no such thing as sitting down and thinking about it and hoping the next day you'll have a Jaguar in your front gate. I mean, you gotta think about it. You have to have the drive. It has to be something that doesn't let you sleep at night. It has to be something that when you wake up the next day, you can't wait to get out of bed because you want to get that. You want to work for it. You want to get it. And that's how you attract things.
Well, of course, we want to be respectful of your time. We're approaching the last two questions. So,
okay.
Do you have any advice for those who would like to start a business or become an entrepreneur like you?
Oh, okay. Well, the first thing is, remember, well, there's two schools of thought there. Because one is, when you're an entrepreneur, you have to take so many risks. You have to have balls of steel, okay? And when everybody else is going on a vacation, you have no vacation. Everything that you do has to be in your head the whole time. Don't expect to be going to sleep and having when there's a long weekend, when everybody's having fun, you're not, because you're always going to be working. You have to be prepared for that kind of lifetime, that kind of a life. So, but if you work on it hard enough, later on you'll have your own time. Then you'll be the one kicking back and having fun. But then being an entrepreneur means, like, the first part, and for the most part, all you're doing is working and more work. Never think that, when you reach a certain level, it's going to stop. No. I've seen, my dad used to work for Gokongwei before, and, I was able to, watch this guy. Okay, quick story. This guy saw somebody selling, what's this? Flavored ice.
Mm-hmm.
When he saw the guy walk with flavored ice, he was already computing how much the ice costs, how much the flavoring costs. I mean, you have to be like that if you want to be, an entrepreneur. But the best advice I could give would be, don't be afraid to fail. Okay, now if you have a goal, don't let anybody tell you otherwise. Even if it's your family and your parents. You can just imagine what my parents were telling me when I was thinking about fighting, martial arts, and everything. Them being corporate people. So don't take anyone's advice. Just take your own advice.
All right. So for the last question, sir, of course, we are in a health crisis, health pandemic. If you had a message that you can convey to the world, what would it be?
Okay. Well, aside from the pandemic, more importantly, there's a lot of empty rhetoric going on in the US and here, okay? So whatever you read, whatever you hear, you have to do your own research and make your own assumptions based on that. You cannot assume based on, something you hear, read, see, because everybody else around us giving us this information has an agenda. Everything you see, all of that has an agenda. Everything you see in the newspapers, everything, not newspapers anymore. It's social media and the news. Everybody there has an agenda. So make sure you see through that and do your own, educated guess or educated plans. Okay, now look at this time, this COVID thing, to determine what's important in your life, where you want to be. This is actually good because you have a time to reset yourself. I mean, don't worry about getting hungry. Let naman tayo nakagawa ng paraan eh. Okay? Sabi mo, oh, ikaw kasi madali mo sabihin kasi ganyan. Hindi. Whatever I have is what I work for. There's no excuse for anybody to na maghirap. Can't blame anybody else except yourself. So use this time to reset, think things through. This is actually a good thing if you think about it, because now that everybody's on standstill, you can think about what's important, you can plan ahead, and you can all come back much, much stronger. Kasi now you all have the time to do things. Hindi mag-TikTok ka lang araw-araw, di ba?
Alright. Thank you so much, sir. Sobrang grabe, daming value na nakuha from you. Maraming salamat. Thank you for educating our viewers. Thank you for, grabe, sobrang daming inspiration. So, sir, before we end, would you like our viewers to check out something? What would you like to promote? Where can people find you?
Oh, all right. Well, I have a YouTube channel that I started. I like showing martial arts at work and techniques at work. So I started it about a month ago. And please follow my YouTube channel. It's called Chief Knows, or just search my name, Alvin Aguilar, on YouTube, and it's all there. Of course, I'd love it if you guys would subscribe also. And if you have any questions about or anything else you want to see or ask, just plug away in the comments there, and I'll do it.
All right. Once again, thank you so much, Sir Alvin. Sobrang grabe. Ito yung favorite session ko so far. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Alright, so that's it for this episode, guys. Maraming salamat for tuning in. Sana marami kayong value na nakuha and sana nag-enjoy kayo from this episode. If meron kayong suggestions, comments, feedback, if you want me to ask a specific question in the future, or if you want a certain person to be in this podcast, please let me know in the comments below. So if you liked it, if may natutunan kayo, please share it with your friends, share it to those who you think are interested with business, those who want to start their own business. And if you want to learn how to invest in the stock market, go to investalearn.com. That's it, mga ka-investa. Paalam.